Hello, hey there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Benjamin Junior Bogonko. Welcome to the Bold and Raw Talks. And I hope you are having a good day or a good evening, wherever you're going to be watching this live broadcast. It's live on my YouTube channel with the name Benjamin Junior Bogonko and also here on Facebook. Every Monday, me, Benjamin, together with my guest, Lydia Tett Olet, who is a mother with three beautiful children based in the United Kingdom, every Monday from 5 p.m., the United Kingdom time and also from 8 p.m., the East African time. We have this parenting program, and this is our fourth edition of parenting. I welcome you wherever you are, any parent to be, wherever you are, to tune in to listen to this discussion. This is our fourth program. You can watch a repeat on my YouTube channel in case you miss this one from the beginning, and you can watch the past three programs. So, this is our fourth edition. Welcome here, tag a friend, share this video, and bring in your fellow parent, or if you're a parent, tell another friend who is a parent to tune in here. As you can see, the topic we're going to be discussing mainly is about how to talk about sex to your child or your children, whether it's a boy or a girl, and especially the teenagers. As your children are growing, so many changes happen in their bodies, and most of them may not get the information, the right information about sex. That's why it's very important for you to tune in here. It's a very difficult topic for so many parents to talk to their children. And I welcome you here so that we can share together. Lydia will be joining us shortly. As you're saying hello there, I see all your greetings on the comment section. She will be joining here shortly in the next few seconds. I'm giving you a few seconds too to share the video, as also she's sharing the video on her side before we go live and start talking. If you're a parent and you're a proud parent, let me know in the comments. Type there, I am a proud parent, and then we will have a discussion. You can bring in your questions later on as we are talking about this topic. Um, but in the meantime, Lydia, together with me, we will be just talking, and she will be giving her opinions on how to talk about sex to children. She has three children, three daughters, and it's very hard to start talking about sex. But let's see how today, me together with Lydia, we will try to make it easier for you, and hopefully your child will learn something that is very important about his or her sex life and sexuality. Lydia, if you're ready, please show me a thumbs up. Okay, good. All right, Lydia is here with me. Hello, Lydia.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today. Again, our fourth edition of Parenting Talks.
Mm.
I hope our viewers, there are no echoes. Let me confirm from the viewers who are watching us live now. Can you hear Lydia very well? Lydia, please go ahead and introduce yourself, and let me see if
Yep.
you, yeah.
Okay. My name is Lydia Tett Olet. And of course, originally, I'm a pure Kenyan. Like I always say, Wakanda forever. I reside in the UK, me and my three beautiful girls. And I'm an entrepreneur, so I do a lot of different things because I believe that one thing is not enough for a human being. We were brought in this world for a purpose, and we're here to fulfill our purpose. And your purpose cannot just be one thing. So that's why I'm an entrepreneur. So thank you so much once again for taking your time to come and listen, watch, contribute, ask questions, and let's build this together as a community to raise our children.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Yes, everyone who is tuning in, yes, she's clear. Yes, the volume and the sound is clear. So thank God we were checking our microphones before we went live. But thank God we are good to go, Lydia.
Okay,
All right.
great.
So we will focus on four topics. The first topic, as you can see there on the caption of this video, is a repeat, a summary of what we discussed last Monday. And so, Lydia, as far as I can remember, last Monday we had a discussion about the behavior of single parents, how to
Yes,
behave and how your behavior can affect the children,
yes.
and also the respect. What does it mean to have respect as a
Mhm,
single parent and
mhm,
also as a parent to your children?
mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
Anything you would like to give us a summary for what we talked about last week?
And we also spoke about identity. And I
Uh-huh.
know there were so many questions in regards identity, and
Yeah.
some people got it, and some people were still struggling with with that identity. But we
Mm-hmm.
know that some people are like, yeah, that we even had a pastor who stepped in as well and said, yeah, identity is
Mm-hmm.
important. But before we start, like I always say, I'm not. I'm not a psychiatrist or I'm not a counselor, but I'm just somebody who works with a lot of different youths. So I've met so many different youths from all walks, all colors. And I'm also a mother of three beautiful girls. And I'm not a perfect person. I'm not a perfect parent either, but I'm the best parent for my children. And I'm a good parent for my children in the community. And that's why I have a passion to talk to parents, because I know that sometimes we get it wrong because we don't have the information. That's why we get it wrong. So if we have the information earlier stages, we can get it right. And when we
Mm-hmm.
get it right, tomorrow we're going to have a very good community.
Wow. So people should not be saying, wow, Lydia has three children. She's a perfect mom.
No, no,
No,
far from that.
far from that.
Far from that.
It's only that you have taken time to learn a lot about parenting and you also
Mm,
deal with the youth, as you said. And this has
yes.
really helped you on how to deal with children and also with teenagers, the way you have
Yes.
your three daughters. A
Mm.
lot of information, as you always say. Knowledge is what do you normally say?
I say knowledge is power, but it's only power if you implement it and you embrace it.
Knowledge is power, but it's only power if you implement it and embrace it. Remember, it's
Yes.
powerful to know how to be a good parent, but you must implement. And
Yes.
I want to encourage my viewers. I normally give them a lot of work to keep on typing. Type there on the comment. You must implement.
Yes.
Don't just listen and say I will do it next week or I will start next year. You are a
Yes.
parent. This is your child. Your child is growing.
Mm.
This year she's going to turn 2. Next year she's going to turn 5. Next year she's going to turn 15. So you must implement.
Yes.
That is why it is powerful. And if you do not implement, then there is nothing you're doing about being a good parent.
Yes.
Okay, Lydia,
Yes.
let's move to the first topic for today. The first topic for today, wow. Let me see. Let me see. Where are we? Where are we? My
It's,
producer, where are you? It's about
I'm laughing because of one comment there. Just keep that comment on the side, Benjamin.
about a boy.
Yes, a 15-year-old. Just put that on the side. Oh God, that
Okay.
gives me a headache.
Aguti Deborah, we have already started with the comments with some parents. I have a boy of 15 years, and one day he asked me why his private part is not big like his fellow friends at school. And
Mm-hmm.
answering confused me so much. How best could I have responded to him? Yes, that's why we are
Yeah.
here today.
Yeah.
And this actually brings to the first topic we're going to talk about
Yes.
comparison, comparing. You know,
Exactly.
even men, I do the
Yes.
sex talk on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I love your platform. I've told you that. I've told you that.
That's why you need to be here if you're a parent. If your son, like Aguti's Deborah's son, asked her, "Why is it my penis is smaller compared to others?" How
Mm,
best can you respond to it as a mother or even as a father?
mm,
So let's start
mm.
with the comparison. First question, Lydia.
Yeah.
Comparing children, is it normal? You have three daughters.
Yeah.
Do you think most parents always compare their children?
Yes, that is
Uh-huh.
one problem that as parents we do a lot.
Mhm.
Sometimes we don't even realize that we do it. And
Mhm.
I like what you said, Benjamin. And like I always tell you, and I'm not saying this because I'm on your platform.
Mhm.
I like your platform because every day you deal with different issues. So you don't just concentrate on. And yesterday you made me laugh when you were telling that person off. Ashindwe Shaitani, wewe.
Yes.
That was so funny. Let me just put that. That was so funny.
Asking
But
for the naked pictures, yes.
yes, I
Uh-huh.
know how you are serious. Is because the reason why you are angry with that comment was because you take everything serious that you do, because these are serious issues that we face every day, from parenting to dating to marriage to sex life to everything. Okay, so everything is they merge together. It's not just this. That's why they say faith and works, they go hand in hand. You cannot just have faith and don't do the work, and you cannot just do the work and don't do the faith. They have to be together. And I like what you say that your child will be 2 today, tomorrow they'll be 5, tomorrow they'll be 15. That's what a lot of parents forget. We always think that those children are going to be 2 years forever. They're not going to be 2 years forever. They're going to be 5 and 10 and 15. And that's why we have to start at an early stage to implement everything that we hear. And like I said, there is no rule book on parenting and marriage. Parenting and marriage is totally like the same things. There is no rule book. If anybody tells you that there's a book of parenting and marriage, that's a scam, because what works for me might not work for you. That's one. And two, these are just guidelines. They're not things that you have to follow it step by step, but they're guidelines. And if you follow guidelines, trust me, Benjamin, you will have either a happy marriage or you'll be a very good parent. Not perfect, nothing is perfect, but you'll be a good parent to your children. And comparison, to talk about comparison, this is something that a lot of parents do, and this is something that hurts children so much. Comparing siblings, if you have more than one child, every child is unique, every child is different, every child have their own weaknesses and their own strength. But we as parents, we always look at one child, and that's why you see some parents, there's a child who is a favorism. This is my it's not, I don't think there's favorism. I think it's easy, because some children are so easy to talk to, easy to deal with, from the same father, the same mother, but one is just difficult. So it's easier for parents to lean on the one that is easy to talk to. And then you think that, oh, that's the favorite. Probably it's not even the favorite. It's just because it's easy to deal with this child. But now you start comparing. Why are you not like your sister? Why are you not like your brother? Why are you not doing this like so and so? First of all, you're creating resentment between the siblings. Because that sibling will not resent you as a parent who is comparing. They'll resent the person who they're being compared to. But that person hasn't done anything. But yet they'll start resenting that child. So if my parent keeps on comparing me to Benjamin and say, why are you not like Benjamin? I'll start resenting you, Benjamin. I'll start feeling, even jealousy will start coming in. Hatred, anger. So is always Benjamin doing good? So you cannot compare your children because they're all different. Focus on your children's strength. Work with their ability, with their weakness, but focus on their strength. Even you as a parent, if a child comes to you and say, oh, but look at Angela's mom. Angela's mom went to university, they're doing this, and you're just selling burger in the market. How would you feel? And I know your child cannot compare you, but imagine a neighbor coming to compare you and say, we Benjani aje? We unauzanga tu mahindi huko na neighbors wako watu wameenda university, how would you feel if somebody compares you with somebody else?
It's very heartbreaking. It's very, very, and it's even common in relationships. People compare others. Yes.
Exactly. To compare, but do so and so. But what you don't know is what happened behind closed doors. Now, every time we talk, I always give example with my own children, okay? There's this woman who kept on comparing her child with someone else. And my children told me, Mom, do you know that woman that she keeps on comparing that child? That child smokes weed. That child had sex. That child has had an abortion. The mom didn't even know. But yet, the girl that the mom keeps on comparing with this girl, she's never had sex. She doesn't smoke. She's never had an abortion. She's a good child. But the mom doesn't see the child. The mom just sees the neighbor's child. Oh, she's doing good. Why can't you be like so and so? You cannot even compare your children with somebody else out there. Because comparing somebody, you don't know what that child does. All you know about that child is what you see. Because people always portray themselves as angels when they're in front of us. Even your own children will portray themselves as angels when they're in front of you. So you don't know this child. But yet you're there comparing your child. Why can't you be like Angela? Look at Angela. She's always going. She comes back on time. But that time that she was out, do you know what she was doing? Even though she comes back on time to the house, but your daughter comes or your son comes back late, but maybe your son or your daughter was out, but what they were not up to no good. They were doing something good, not bad, even though they stayed home late. They stayed out late. But this Angela comes home really, really early, but they think she was doing out, or they think she was doing out.
Wow.
If they show you.
So comparison takes away the joy. Like this quote, which I just picked out online, comparison is a thief of joy. The more the parent is comparing, it doesn't matter in your analysis. It's not about having more than one child. Remember, you can
Yes.
have one child, but this child is always interacting with other children
Yes.
at school and the neighborhood. And here on social media, which we're also going to talk about, social media has created a lot of bigger comparisons.
Yes.
You wake up
Yes.
in the morning and you see children of so and so or of a celebrity, and then you compare them with yours. Then you feel like,
Yes.
wow, I am doing very, very badly as a parent.
Exactly.
Comparison is the thief of joy. It's a monster. If you start comparing people, even adults, like what you have said, Lydia, I like what you just said. Even adults compare each other. So and so.
Yes.
Benjamin is doing very well. Why can't you be like
Exactly.
him? But you don't know what I normally do behind the scenes.
Yes.
The
Yes.
marriage of so and so looks very nice on social media, but you have no idea. Like we normally say, vitu kwa ground.
Ni different. Ni
what
tofauti.
what you see here online is not exactly what is going on in people's lives. The
Yes.
same way with children, the way you compare them with what they are going through at school or at home, it is not necessarily true that your child is far much lower below compared
Yes.
to the other children. Yes. And
It's like,
yes, yes, go on.
yeah. It's like even with in a relationship, you see when couples come out, even not on social media, but when they go out to visit people, you see them hugging, nice, and you're like, oh my God, I wish I can be like so and so. Because I used to be like that with the father of my children. We used to be, when we were going out, we were so loving. We used to like show people the way we are, but immediately we enter the house, we're not talking, we're not even sleeping in the same room.
Wow.
Okay. So remember, when you keep on comparing, because be they always say that be careful of what you ask for. So if you keep on comparing your child to that person, to that child out there, God will give you every cup that child is drinking from. They're not going to give you only the good. You have to take the good, the bad, and the ugly of that child. So when the good, the bad, and the ugly now comes to your child, who do you start blaming again? You start blaming your child and say, why are you behaving like this? You've forgotten you're the one who was praying and wishing. Like, let me tell you, one day, there's this lady, she's a very good friend of mine. And she said, oh, there was this guy, and this guy is around, he's a young guy, and he has a house, he has all these things, he has a nice car, and then this is oh, I wish my son can be like so and so. I said, excuse me, you cannot say that, because do you know how that man makes his money? Do you know how he bought the house? Do you know how he bought the car? These things that we see, material things that we see, you don't know how this person got these things. So what you should say is, I want my son to be who God created him to be, who God ordained him to be, who God saved him to be, who God ordained him to be. That's the person I want my son to be. Because God did not create you on this earth to be like Anthony. God created you to be Benjamin, unique, special. God created you for his own purpose, you as a person. God did not create you to be like somebody else. Even if you're twins, even conjoined twins, even those twins that we see, they were conjoined twins and they separated them through operation. They have different personalities. They have different characters. They are different people. So why would you now want your child to be like somebody else? When I told her, she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's true what you just said. Because you don't know where these people are getting their things from. So you cannot compare your child and say, oh, I want my child to be like so and so. That does not, it's totally wrong. And that's what a lot of parents do. And when you do that, you demoralize your child. Especially if that child knows what the other person is doing, because the child, they always say, tell. They're not going to tell. So you're busy comparing your child to Anthony, but yet Anthony is a drug dealer out there. Anthony is doing so many bad things, but Anthony will come in front of their parents and Anthony will be the angel that you think you know. But your child knows what Anthony is doing. So when you're comparing your child to Anthony, your child will be like, okay, if you love Anthony so much, so I might be like, I might as well be like Anthony. They start selling drugs too. They start doing these things too. So don't compare your child. Pray to God for your child to be whoever God created them to be, because they have their own destiny. So stop comparing your child to either siblings or people out there. Your child is unique, special, and it's them. Let me tell you something, right?
Yep.
One day, me and my friend, we painted my daughter's room, because my two daughters, they share their room, so we painted it. And because it was still wet, we even said it. We said, I'm going to call all my three girls, and I'm going to tell them not to put not glue tack, to put sellotape on the paint. But one of them is going to question us. That's how different children are. So I called my first one. I say, Mommy, don't put any sellotape on these walls. She just said, okay, Mommy. No question asked. We called the last one, because we knew the second one is the one that has too many questions. We called the last one. We said, oh, don't put sellotape on the wall. Or she said, okay. Why? Because if you put it, you rip it, it hits the wall. Finish. We called the third one. We were there for almost 5 minutes explaining. She said, why? We said, because it will rip the wall. What if I use the blue tag? It will do the, yeah, but what if I put it in that way? But why did you paint the whole room then? You should have painted one. I was like, oh my God, you know what? It's okay. Just, we started laughing. She was like, why are you guys laughing? We said, because this is what we anticipated before we called you guys. We knew you will do this. So you see, children are different. So you cannot compare them. Everything about them is different. So don't compare your children, and concentrate on your children's strength, not their weakness.
I love that. Concentrate, focus on the strengths, not their weaknesses.
Exactly.
Wow, Lydia, look at this comment by Tower. Tower actually has 4 children. We're still on comparison. Those of you who are watching here, this is the Bold and Raw Talks with me, Lydia Tett, and we are talking about parenting. This, remember, is our 4th program. So
Yes.
please, we want to encourage you as a parent or a parent to be to continue sharing this video. Every Monday we are here, and we try to demystify this thing about parenting as this generation. And remember, Lydia has 3 daughters, and she has been raising them by herself. So she's speaking from a very, very good background of a lot of experience. You can imagine raising 3 daughters in this generation and at this time. How best will you protect them from the monsters outside there? And even talk about this topic we're talking about. The comparison here, you see, Toera Nyirenda says, even siblings compare their own children in academics and achievements. And I want you to briefly talk about your 3 daughters, specifically, Lydia. Academics and achievements, are they the same? The first daughter, second, and third?
Nope. I'll just, I don't, if anybody wants to judge me out there, that's their business, because I know I'm the best mom to my children and I've done the best for them. Now, my family, because sometimes things trickle through the genes. They trickle through the genes, right? My family, none of us went to university. None of us. We are 7 of us. Nobody went to university, not even my mom or my dad. So in our generation, we don't really have people who went to university. We are not really academic people. Their father's side, almost everybody in that family went to university. So they're brainy people. Okay, so it trickles down the family. So I've got 3 girls. The firstborn doesn't like theory, anything to do with books. Nah, she can't do it. And I don't blame her, because I remember me, I never liked school. But I never liked school for so many reasons. Every time they were chasing me out of the school because my dad did not pay school fees. When you go back, children are laughing at you. So I just hated school. For her, she had all the opportunity not to hate school, because they never sent her back for school fees. She had everything, but yet she still did not like books. But she likes practical things. She has her own company right now. She has her own business right now because she likes practical things. My second born is the same. When I was thinking, oh my God, at least my second born will go to uni. She'll be the first person to go to uni in Olet's family, my family. She too, she turned around and said, Mommy, I don't want to go to uni. I was like, why? She said, oh, I want to do apprenticeship because I'm doing my job. I said, fine. But the last born, she's the one who's taken that side. She is brainy. She reads books. She does this. She does this. And I encourage her in her strength, because she is different from the 2. But I don't see her that she's better than the 2, or she's special than the 2, because the 2 don't want to go to uni. No. All my children are special in their own way. They all have their weaknesses. They all have their strength. And I focus on their strength. Now, I know somebody said that siblings compare. Yes, siblings do compare, because they're like, let's say we are Like me, we are 7 in my family. So let's say some sibling, like let's say my elder sister, example, maybe her children went to uni. Now she'll do not allow anybody to come to your doorstep and start comparing their children with yours. I don't care if it's my mom. I don't care if it's my dad. I don't care if it's their own dad. I don't care if it's my sisters or brothers. You are not comparing my child to anybody, because you're not going to demoralize my child and make them feel like and make them feel rejected or unwanted. You're not doing that. And I know siblings likes doing that, because you can have a brother, all their children went to university, but yours, nobody even knows how to spell the word university. No, 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 no. That's not the point. The point is not university. The point is, how do you treat your children? How do your children come out in the society? Your children can go to university, but yet they're nightmares in the community. University is not the end game. It's not the end game. Yes, it's very important. It's very, very important, but it's not the end game. So comparing siblings, oh, but my child is this, my child is this. No, don't allow anybody to compare their children with yours. That's negativity. Always tell my children everything, and that's we'll talk about that one day. When I say friends come into your life for a season, a lifetime, and a reason. If somebody comes in your life and they respect you and they love you so much, 2 years down the line, they want to be rude, and they think now, because Benjamin, I'm the one who made Benjamin, I'm the one who gave it. Nobody made you. It's God who made you. God just used them at that time to give you that thing that they gave you, to put you in that position. Now, if they want to start disrespecting you, block, delete, move on. No guilt, not even guilt whatsoever, because somebody who respects and loves you cannot come and start telling you, putting their fears on you. And that's why I always say that don't allow anybody to project their fears on you, because they want you to live under their mercy. It doesn't happen like that. So you're not coming to compare my children with yours. Thank you, Jesus, for giving you those children. Those are yours. Mine, Jesus too gave me mine, and I have to deal with them according to me.
And by blocking those people is not just blocking them on social media. You block them in real life, no talking with them, no visiting them, and tell them whatever you want to say about my children, I don't want to hear. Deal with your children, I deal with my children.
Block totally. Because Benjamin, there is correction, and there is intimidation, and there is sarcasm. There's so many things under the tone, and that's why they always say it's not what you said, it's the way you said it. So if somebody comes, because a child belongs to the community. As an African setting, our children belong to the community. So if somebody came and want to discipline my child, there's a way they'll say it, and I know this is discipline straight from the auntie or uncle. Good enough. But there's how you say something that will really demoralize the children and really make the child feel like they're rubbish, that they can nobody.
Yes.
Even you as a parent, you can feel it. So that I will not allow that. But if there's a way you can come and talk to my children, sometimes it's not about comparison. It's about saying something to encourage a child. That is different. There's how you can come and say, talk to your child about a neighbor, to encourage and inspire them, but not to compare.
Inspire, but not compare. Not to compare, just inspire.
Yes.
Wow. There's also the idea you earlier on you talked about the easy kid and the strong kid. The easy kid is very easy to talk. Like for me, I'm the firstborn in my family, and I'm very easygoing. The way you see me, the way we interact. So obviously, my parents they like to talk to me.
Yes.
But the brother who follows me is always very quiet, kind of an introvert, and he's just a quiet guy, quiet man, very quiet. And we have those people in our families. And even a
Yes.
parent who is watching, you have this talkative, bubbly, outgoing, and then the other one is always quiet. So a parent is left confused. What can I do to make this quiet one to start talking?
Yes.
And with this generation of social media, ladies and gentlemen, as you are listening to us, continue sharing the video. I really, really request you to do that. If you join in, share the video, click the share button.
Yes.
With the era of social media, most of those quiet children they end up stuck on the internet because they don't want to go out and meet people. So
Mm,
they
mm,
lock themselves in the room, and whatever they are doing there online, we don't know what they are doing and who they are chatting
yes.
with.
Mm,
You have three daughters. Obviously, there is a difference in terms of
mhm.
how they are.
Yes. Yes.
What would you like to say about the children who are very easygoing and those who are very quiet and shy?
In fact, we've agreed that my children will come on show one day.
Hmm.
Maybe the sixth, the seventh episode, they will come, and you'll actually even ask them that question. They will tell you straight away. This one is like this one is like this one is like this. My second born, she's very hard to. Let's say I tell them let's do something, and she agrees. Immediately she agrees. I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus, hallelujah. The two I don't have to convince. My firstborn, like I told you, my firstborn have never answered me ever. I can just tell her, Mommy, this is what I want us to do. She's like, okay, mom. She never questions. Hi, my secondborn. I
Hmm.
have to sit down. I have to actually think of how am I going to convince this girl? Because if I tell her this, I know she's going to answer me this and she's going to answer me this. So my firstborn, even some people have always said that, oh, your firstborn is your favorite. No, she's not my favorite because she's easy. She's easy to deal with, easy to talk to. With my firstborn is what you see is what you get. My second one, on the other hand, hey, you have to really work your brain. How am I going to talk to this girl? How am I going to convince her? Because she has questions. And it's not just questions, hard questions. One day there was this guy. I told them I want to date this guy. Then I took them dinner. The question she was asking this guy like was looking at the door to exit.
Hmm.
She's just nonsense person. So she's hard. She's very hard to deal with. But it's not like she's not my favorite. I love her. She's special. She's unique. But that's just how she is. And then my third born is just like whatever everybody says. What did that one say? Okay, that one goes. What
Let's
did the
go
other
with
one
that.
say?
Yeah.
That one goes. She's just whatever someone says, she goes with it. Especially whatever the firstborn says, she'll just go with it. So that's how they are. But that doesn't mean one is better than the other. It's just that's their character. They're different. So
Hmm.
you have to know your children and you have to know how to deal with each one of
Hmm.
them.
So the quiet one, there is no technique that you are going to force him to start talking to
Ooh,
you.
the
No.
second one, there is no technique. And what I always tell parents is because my second born, she has moods. Sometimes she's quiet. And my first born and my last born and myself, we know that. So we know how to deal with her. When she's
Hmm.
quiet, she's in she doesn't want to talk, we leave her, right? And
Yes.
then when she's happy, oh, we when she's happy, we load her with so many things. Everything she missed, we load her. So when we load her, like now, it's been like 2 or 3 months. She's in moods, in good moods. Even we are shocked. Yesterday we were like, hey, this girl has been in good moods for long. Yeah. So we load her with things, and then one day she doesn't want to talk. You making noise. She say, "You guys, why are you shouting?" And you're thinking, "You shout," but she only shouts when she's in her moods.
Hmm.
So we know how to deal with her. When she's not in her moods, we know we give her space.
Hmm.
So you know how to deal with every single person. Not that when she's not in her moods, that's when you say, why are you not talking? Talk, talk. No.
What are
Give
you
her,
thinking? What are you planning?
why are you planning? What are you thinking? What are you doing? No. Just give
Yes.
her, we always just give her space. I'll just go and sit and say, hey, what are you watching, sweetie? I'll just go,
Hmm.
what are you watching? She say, and then I'll sit there and watch it with her for a while. And then I say, okay, sweetie, I love you. Give her a hug and a kiss and leave her.
And leave her alone.
Leave her alone. And
Ladies
then
like asking men, what are you thinking? When a
ah
man is
no,
quiet.
no.
Asking your child, what are you thinking? It's sometimes the kid is quiet, sometimes the kid is tired or is just bored, had a bad day, like the
Mhm.
previous programs you mentioned, you have the time when you normally talk with your daughters. After you
Yes.
go back home, you try to talk with them.
Mhm.
Even kids, I know from my profession as a teacher, sometimes they have a bad day. And when you
Yes.
have a bad day, you just want to be alone. Leave me alone.
Mhm.
I'm not talking to anyone, and I'm
Yes.
not thinking about anything bad.
Yes.
It's just I just want to be alone, and then maybe tomorrow I will have a good day.
Yes.
It's far much better to ask a child how
Mhm.
your day was,
Yeah.
and leave it at that.
Mhm.
Or did you have
Yes.
a good day? Did you have
Yeah.
a bad day?
Mhm.
Like basically, when you meet them briefly, just before we move to the next topics, when you are having that conversation with your daughters when you go back home, what are some of the basic questions you normally ask them?
I never assume, and this is something else, assumption. I never assume because they're quiet or anything. I just say, what's wrong with you? What are you thinking? No, I just say, oh, sweetie, are you okay? Yes. How was your day today? Or I'm not okay. So what was your aha time? And then they start saying, oh, I didn't have a hard time today. Oh yeah, mommy, a hard time was this and this. And then I'm like, what was your time? And then sometimes they'll say, I did have. And then sometimes they'll say, yeah, this happened. So and so upset me. And then I'll now talk to them and I say, okay, what can we do to what can you do different for that not to happen again? They say, yeah, I think I'll study hard. Like maybe my daughter told me, oh, the exams were so hard, and I felt like I'm just failing. And then I said, but if you fail, that doesn't make you a failure. Okay, you just failed on that thing, but that doesn't make you a failure. You still have so many things that you can show for. And what can you do different so you don't feel like that tomorrow in your exams? She said, oh, I need to study more harder. I need to do this. I said, okay, baby, just study more harder. So tomorrow, that your aha time will be your aha moment. So I talk to them like that.
Yeah.
But I don't just go and assume, what's wrong with you? Why are you sad? Why you didn't know? Because that's assumption. And when you say that, you close them so they won't talk. But if you just say, sweetie, are you okay, honey? I say, no, I'm not. Because now you've given them a room to respond.
To express and say, oh, today I had a bad day, this
Yes.
happened, and then you just listening and you don't judge them, and eventually you encourage them on how to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, on this topic of comparison, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen who are just watching here. Today here, I'm with my guest, as usual, Lydia Tett Olet, based in the United Kingdom. She has 3 daughters, has been raising them for some years now. And this is our 4th edition of parenting. So if you're watching again for the first time, please don't forget to like and follow this page. And also, Lydia will be giving her social media handles. In fact, her name there you see on the screen, Lydia Tett Olet. It's her Facebook account, and she uses it to do other shows other than this that we're doing every Monday. So I'm giving you 1 second to like and follow the page. Check it out, Lydia Tett Olet on Facebook, and also you can follow her there and listen to some of the programs that she has online here. We are still on comparison before we go to the sixth part and education.
Yes.
I hope we'll finish within 1 hour. Our target was 1 hour, but you as a parent, I hope you're learning something so far so good. I want you to briefly, Lydia, to speak about well-behaved children and not so well-behaved.
Yeah. Well,
let me ask the viewers before you even respond. Do you
okay.
have a well-behaved child and a not so well-behaved child? Type there. If you have 2 children, are they both well-behaved? If you have 3, are they all well-behaved? Or one of them you are like, oh my goodness, huyu ni kama baba yake. And if you are 6 of you in your family, or 7 or 8, are you all well behaved, or there's one person who went to the wrong direction? Absolutely wrong. So, Lydia, I understand with so many parents, even if it's one child, they might be tempted to compare him or her with the children who are well behaved at school and neighbors. It's normally school and neighbors and other family members. You have 3 daughters. Please talk about the well-behaved and not well-behaved.
If you want to compare them with the children that you think are well behaved. Okay. So if you see children outside, either in school or anything, you think they're well behaved, but probably they're not. So you comparing your children to those children who you think they're well behaved is a no, because especially if your children know those children's behavior. So they'll be thinking, okay, so mom is okay for me to start having sex. Mom is okay for me to smoke weed, because a lot of children right now are smoking weed. Or mom is okay for me to drink. Mom is okay for me to do this, because that child that mom keeps on comparing me with is actually doing these things. So it's when you think that you know these children. So comparison is a no. Now, we do have in family, we do have some children who behave well, some children don't behave well. But I think even though those children don't behave well, you still cannot compare them with the ones that behave well. Because remember, that's her weakness. That's the child's weakness. The child still have strength. They still have they still have good things in them. Okay, even though this one is a bad one, this one is a good one. So concentrate so much on the good one. Keep on praising the good one. Keep on acknowledging the good one. Okay, but the bad one now, let's work on the bad one. What is making you behave like this? You have to ask that child for them to know. You don't just say, why did you have an urge? Why did you think it's okay to do what you did? Let that child talk to you and tell you why they thought it's okay to do what they did. And then now you start acting. Now you start acting on that thing that the child said. But don't compare your child and say, oh, you look at your sisters. They're not even stealing. Why are you stealing? Because I know that is something that a lot of children have. To be taking £2 from here, to be taking £3 from here, and they're thinking it's okay. But it's not okay. So you have to sit down with them and ask them, why did you take this money? Why do you think it's okay to take somebody's money? Why do you think it's okay to take somebody's property, or to go and spoil somebody's property, or to behave the way you're behaving, to leave the house without asking mommy, to come back late whatever time you want, even though their sisters are not doing that. But they're doing this. So you need to sit down and ask them, why do you do this? So again, I'll come back to my last born. And last born, my second born don't like going out. Even now, I'm fighting with her. Benjamin, I'm fighting with this girl to go out. She doesn't like going out.
It's very teenagers don't want to go out. She wants to stay in her room. You plan any event going out, they don't want to go.
My second born, I tell her, sweetheart, you have to go. She said, Mommy, I don't think I'm going out until May. I said, no, you will go out, honey. You will go out with your friends. You go for dinner. You go for movies. You go out. She doesn't like clubbing at all. I say, okay, fine. If you don't like clubbing, that's fine. My firstborn is different. She's like me, exactly 100%. She likes life. She's the loudest. She loves life. And then my lastborn, she doesn't leave the house, Benjamin, but immediately you send her house. She doesn't come back. So one day I was like, what's wrong with this girl? She doesn't go out. But if you send her to the shops, she's not coming back. She will stay, and then you tell her, but the shop is just there, sweetie. Why did you take 40 minutes? Somewhere that will just take you 10 minutes. Oh, because I went round like this. So one day I followed her to see where does she go, because I know where the shop is. So I saw that she walks, and then she'll sit and she'll stare and stare. And it's when they asked her, why do you do that? And she said, because she finds it hard to leave the house. But once she leaves the house, because you've pushed her out, she wants to just go and explore.
Wow.
So I found out, so that's the thing. So she's so lazy to leave the house. But once she leaves the house, she's now out. She doesn't want to come back.
So the second one who does not want to go out, what do you do?
The second one don't want to go out. The third one goes out and don't come back. The second one, if she goes out, within 30 minutes, she's back. She doesn't like people. Oh my God. One day when we are all there, we'll discuss. She'll just tell you, she gave me problems. She's the one who made it so hard for me, because she doesn't want to sleep in anybody's house. She doesn't want to stay in anybody's house. So if I have anything at night, or if I have anything to do, I can't do it, because I have to
sharing the bed. She doesn't want to share the bedroom with anyone.
She doesn't want to. One day she went to a neighbor. Our house is there, and the neighbor's house is there. 2 a.m. she calls me crying. I want to go back home. I said, but you are next to our house, honey. Mommy is far. I was 3 hours away. I said, Mommy, I can't come back. Just sleep. It's 2 o'clock, so it's almost morning. She's crying. I want to go home. I want to go home. So I had to speak to the woman. I said, can you allow your children to go to my house so they can sleep with her in the house? So I never go out. Because she cannot sleep in anybody's house. So she really gave me more problems that I have to stay in. I thank God now that she's older, but she kept that. She doesn't stay in anybody's house. She doesn't eat food out, because she loves cooking. So she cooks her own food. So she's totally different.
And that does not mean that she's not well behaved. Like you see, no. Yeah. Even if she stays at home, because there are parents who are watching, and now their children don't want to go out completely, want to stay in the room, lock themselves up in the room. You're like, wow, how can a teenager, for us, our generation, we didn't grow up locking ourselves in a room.
Yes.
There was no internet and there was no phone. You give a teenager food and internet. End of the story.
End of. They don't want to go out to interact with other children.
What am I going to do out? And I have people to chat with here, people to see, people to follow. What am I going to do out there that is much more exciting than this? And when it reaches that point, did you allow your second daughter to just be? If you don't want to go out, or sometimes you are forcing her and telling her, hey, next week we are going, whether you like it or not. How are you handling when she was really, really refusing?
Because when I'm going with their two sisters, then she'll follow. But when we go there, she'll be like, oh, mom, can we go back home? But the good thing with my children is they're very, very close. So they follow, they feed from each other. So if my firstborn says, oh, let's go, guys, they will all go. If my firstborn say, oh, hey, mommy, if my firstborn says, let's go back, one day I even hit the khaki. I hit the khaki, me and my friend. We hit the khaki and we say, oh my God, the khaki is lost. So we started looking for it, but I knew where it was because she just started, mommy, I want to go home. The minute she started, I want to go home.
It's a wrap.
So I had to hide the khaki. And I'm like, where's the khaki? Who had the khaki? Everybody said. So we stayed in that venue for another 1 hour because we were looking for the khaki. And you know who was there? It was that guy that plays, oh God, what's his name? A big guy in Kenya. He plays, oh God, this music, this,
Traditional kind of music.
no, not tradition. He plays. I'm sure you know him because he's a very big guy in Kenya. He came to the UK to perform, so we all went. And then this girl just wants to go home. He plays country music. Country music. He
It's
plays
called,
country
I
music.
forgot his name, but he likes
Yeah.
dressing like a cowboy.
Yes, like a
Ah,
cowboy. He's a big guy. So
I
I was
know
like,
him, yes.
we are not going. So I hid the key. So, but when my first one say, oh, come on, just calm down. When mommy finished, we can go. Then she'll now listen. So she listens to her siblings more because they're so close. So when I feed my first one, sometimes I'll call and I'll be like, just do that favor for mom. And then
Yeah.
she'll go and talk to her sister and say, ah, Larissa, and then she'll do what her sister is saying. But sometimes, like when I tell her you have to go out with your friends, she'll go out, but within 30 minutes, she's back. I'm like, what happened? And one day she went out, 3 a.m., she was still out. I did not phone her intentionally. Ah, Benjamin, this girl was angry. She said, mommy, you couldn't even phone me. 3 a.m., I was out. How can I be out at 3 a.m.? And I said, but you just left at around 12. So I just wanted you to have fun. So she was so upset that I didn't call her. And 3 a.m., she was still out. My firstborn will be out until tomorrow. You come back at 7 a.m. So they're so different.
Yeah.
So they're so different. And I love the fact
And you
that
take it that way without stressing yourself so much.
no.
All right. Wow. This topic of comparison, as you can see, it's really, really wide. I hope we have covered so many areas, especially to do with the behavior, things to do with the family. We didn't mention something to do, but you briefly talked about it, the family with money and family without money, you know?
Yes, they
Also,
can't come and compare your children because Benjamin, we are all different. God
mhm.
has blessed, everybody has their own grace. So maybe your sibling, God has blessed them more and they have money more than you. But they cannot come and start comparing that with their children who are in private schools, and your children are in normal government schools. I'll not allow that. If I have to say, you know what, because my sister should make my children feel so inferior. She thinks that her children are inferior over my children, or they're superior over my children because she has so much money. Their children are going to boarding schools or private schools, and mine are just. I won't talk to her because nobody will come and make my children feel anyhow. Like I said, I don't care who you are, but you cannot make my children feel anyhow because God has given you those children. God will ask you, I gave you children. What did you do?
The parent has to stop anyone who is trying to compare their education level with the other ones.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. And all of us can never be the same. Even your brother's children, your brother may be more successful, has more
Yes.
money and take
Yes.
the children to better schools compared to yours.
Yeah.
And that's just life. We can never be
That's
the
just
same.
life.
That's life.
Exactly.
We can
That's
never be
life.
the same. You can never be the same with your neighbor. You can
Yes.
never be the same even with your former schoolmates. Even if you
Exactly.
have two children, both of you can never be on the same level as you're raising your children. There's
Exactly.
something that I want you to mention quickly about sports. There are kids who are very active with sports, and others are not active with sports. I just moved to America recently, and if you have an idea about what American culture is, especially to a black man,
Mhm.
success in most cases is measured by how successful you are in sports,
Yeah.
basketball or American football.
Mhm.
But of course, in our African setting, there are sports is not really so much a place to compare children. But
Mhm.
one kid can be very active, another one is not active into sports.
Mhm.
Your daughters, you haven't mentioned anything to do with sports. I know they are girls. What would you like to say?
my children my children don't really, my first and my second, they don't really do sports. My last one does a little bit of hockey, because that's, again, it trickles from their father's side, because everybody in their father's side played hockey. So she has so many traits, a lot of traits from the father side, which is okay, 100%. So she does hockey, she does, which one is this again? Basketball.
Mhm,
She does a lot of sports compared to the two. The two don't do nothing. She does running. She's a typical Kenyan running, she does all that.
mhm,
But it's not, she doesn't do this in a professional level. She does that, she does them for either passion or just because the school is doing it, not in a professional level like her father's people did. They did in a professional level, especially hockey. But
mhm,
she does it for fun. But again, you can't compare your children and say, oh, somebody's children is playing, why don't you play football? Because now I see, especially here in the UK, because this is where I live now, I
mhm,
see a lot of black parents, they see a child playing football, they think, me too, I want to take mine. And they say, oh, why are you not playing football like that child? That is a gift, or it's a talent. If your child doesn't have it, they don't have it. There's some things that are not taught. There's some things that are inborn. And like my sister in America, my sister's son, he stammers. So, and because he stammers, and because he was born and raised in Kenya before he went to America, there was a lot of stigma with stammering. So he didn't have the confidence. His confidence was very low. But when he went to America, he started building the confidence. He started building it. He's not very good with books. Like I said, in my family, nobody went to uni. Everybody who tried to go to uni dropped. Okay, nobody went. So, but he plays American football and he's very good in American football. And
mhm.
I would feel like it's so unfair if my sister was to come and say, "Oh, my son plays American football. Your son doesn't, or your children don't." It's you can't do that.
Mhm. Thank you for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, those who are tuning in here, thank you so much once again. I'm here with Lydia. And this is a program every Monday from 5 p.m. United Kingdom time. We talk about parenting. So I hope you're going to like and follow the page every Monday around this time, 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. East African time. We have various topics about parenting. If you're a single parent, or if you're a parent, or if you're a parent to be, this program every Monday is one that you can be tuning in, and you can always watch a repeat from my YouTube channel, Benjamin Junior Bogongo, in case you just missed it from the beginning. And as you can see, yes, we were going to talk about sex was our main topic, but we have focused more about comparison, because comparison is a monster. As we said
Mm,
from the beginning, comparison takes away the joy. When you compare your child with others, with your sister's children, with your brother's children, with the other children, then you are taking the joy from from your child. You are putting pressure on him or on her. And then finally, as a conclusion, this is what I picked, Lydia, so far about comparison. And I put there on the comments: rather than compare your child, celebrate their strengths,
mhm.
help them develop their unique talents, and give them a sense of pride in their identity. We even talked about identity in last Monday's show.
Yeah.
Rather than comparing him with so and so in social media, at school, at home, or with neighbors, celebrate their strengths. My son is
Mhm.
good at this. I will focus on this. And the weak areas, I can try to help him to develop,
Mhm.
to get into their unique talents. As a
Yes.
parent, please remember this all the time. Celebrate the strengths. Don't look at the weaknesses. Whether it's at school, in academics, in sports, or even in behavior, focus so much more on the strengths
Mm,
that your child already has. So, Lydia,
yeah.
as you can see, the time has gone 54 minutes.
Yes.
We haven't even talked about sex, how to talk about
Yes.
sex.
Yeah, what?
I don't know how we are going to manage this discussion, ladies and gentlemen, talking about sex. But before you even talked about sex, you see, the third topic for today was about the school education systems.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That one is more of the comparison. So we'll just go quick with that
Just
as
quickly,
well.
briefly, and then we go to the sex. How do you talk about sex to your children? Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
So with the education system, we do have a lot of children who have learning difficulties, a lot of children who are dyslexic, a lot of children who are struggling in school with books because of the problems that are at home. But as parents, do we see that? How do we help our children in this learning difficulty or dyslexic? How do we identify that, oh, my child actually has a problem, has a learning problem, has the ability to learn and to cram, like, in Kenyan system, you have to cram things. The
Hmm.
ability to cram, or the ability to learn, or the ability to read or to do maths, they don't have it. So we need to identify this at an early age and help our children. And that's why it comes as well to the same as comparing. But you help your child through their talent, through their gift. Now, in an African education system, especially in Kenya, because that's where I grew up, we have this thing that you have to go to work 9 to 5. You have to white collar jobs. But we have things like farming. We have things like a welder. We have things like carpentry. We have things like plumbing. We have things. Why don't you? We have things like singing, acting. All those are talents and gifts. Why don't you now explore, look at your child and explore the gift and the talent that this child have, rather than just hitting their head. Your child has come number last. They're even scared to show you their report form, because I know I was like that, because I was never smart in school, and I've told my children that I'll get the E's and D's and C's. If I get a C, I'll be celebrating. And my parents would utapigwa ngoto. This ngoto unapigwa. The next day you see this. Because now at the older age, I realized that I was actually dyslexic, because there are even some words I can't pronounce. So I realized when I came here and I started going through the system in this country, they realized I was dyslexic. But my parents didn't think I was. They didn't care. They didn't even know what dyslexic was. All they did was kunipiga ngoto. Every time it was ngotos. Even those
Hmm.
affect your brain, because those ngotos here in your brain, it's not nice. And they will say, oh, but you turned out okay. Did we really turn out okay? A lot of us, no. It's just because we are living to survive. We are living we are living to survive. It doesn't mean that you turned out okay. So
Ulikuwa unachapwa, usipopasi mzuri unachapwa viboko.
when you jinga, the
Yeah.
teachers in school are calling you when you jinga, parents are calling you when you jinga. So they just call you mjinga until you become actually mujinga. But you have a problem. You have a learning difficulty. You have dyslexic. The things that are happening at home have clouded your brain so much that you can't even read. You cannot concentrate on education. So we as parents, we actually need to sit and assess our children and see, what is my child capable of doing? If it's reading 100%, yes, let's help that child. If it's maths, if it's education and your child is excelling in education, brilliant. But if your child is not excelling in education, what can you do to help your child? So there's so much help out there. There's a lot of, even now Kenya, they have help with learning difficulty. They have help with dyslexic children. They have help with autism. They have help with all these things that children are going through. So parents need to identify, does my child have autism? Because sometimes a child behaves so bad, you keep on beating this child, but this child has autism. So we need to identify all these things that our children are going through at an early stage, and then seek for help, because there's help out there. Don't be scared to talk about it. Don't be scared and leave your child in the room that huyu ni abomination. Atafanya watu waseme mimi ni curse. This is a cursed child. So they'll say that I'm a witch, I'm a this. And I was talking to a lady who is trying to create awareness in Kenya about this last week on Wednesday. And she was like, she's so sad because she has a child who has a Down syndrome. She has a child who has special needs. And she got this stigma. But she's blessed that she had a child in the UK. But even in the UK, she still had the stigma and she still struggles. So imagine Kenya, or in Africa or Kenya, where every child who has a special needs is either cast, or the parent is cast, or the generation or their caste. There's a caste. Everything is attached to caste. There's
Mhm.
no education towards this. So I think more awareness should be created that these things do happen. The fact that you have a child with special needs doesn't make you a curse and doesn't make that child a curse. What you need to do as a parent is seek for professional help. Do not
Wow.
be ashamed. Seek
Mhm.
for professional help.
And I wish these political leaders who are looking for posts these few months should talk about this.
Yes.
Even some of them have those children you're describing, but they don't
Yeah.
want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
The stigma is real, and
Mm-hmm.
the people really cannot be able to even express. I've hosted some parents who have children living with autism, and
Mm-hmm.
this coming April is the month of autism, and we will still do some of those shows to encourage the parents who have
Yes.
children living with autism and how
Mm-hmm.
to do it. Because in Africa, as you said, I remember me and mathematics, we were never in the same WhatsApp group. I was just good in languages and
Yes.
history and humanities. And
Mm.
the math teacher in secondary school caned me one day really badly that I couldn't walk for 2 weeks. I was struggling to walk. I remember very well, and he caned me because I think I got 5% in one of the tests that he gave us, and he
Mm-hmm.
caned me so badly, and I couldn't report him. You know, that was abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, was abuse when caning was
Yes.
still caning in Kenya, and
Yeah.
I remember he caned me for more than roughly more than 10 minutes at night
Wow.
because it was a boarding school. No one was around. You know, it's a boarding school. It's the preps time when kids are alone and together with him. He just came and gave us the results. And then, okay, Benjamin, follow me to the office. And then he came to me. And I didn't understand at that time. But I think, as you mentioned, there are people who are going through a lot. I later realized that he was facing so many things, wrong things in his life, private life, personal life.
Mm.
Teachers are also human beings. They are going through a lot of things, and they might actually do all these things to your child, thinking that for
Mm.
me, I am stupid. I cannot perform very well in math, you know?
Yeah.
And all of us are not capable of performing very well in all subjects. We have our talents and we have our unique talents. So
Mm.
if you're a teacher who is watching here, yes, caning was banned in Kenya, and punishment was totally abolished because of those things. Even teachers assume that if a child does not perform very well in school, the
Mm.
child is the problem. It's not the
Mm.
teacher. But there's
Yeah.
a lot of things when a child is not performing, people should find out the root cause of
Mm.
why is he or she not performing very well in
Yeah.
academic level, other than
Mhm.
punishing him and calling him or her very bad and demeaning names.
Yeah.
Anyway, I forgave that teacher. I hope he's still alive.
To see you today.
He should see me here shining and thriving. But I think he didn't understand the meaning of some students not being good at math
Yeah.
and others being good at math.
And Benjamin, I do understand what you just said about teachers are humans and
Mhm.
sometimes they come bad. If you are a leader, you're being held accountable of your actions. Whether you're a pastor, because if you're a pastor, you have flocks who are looking at you and they want voice of reasoning coming from you. You are a teacher. Students are looking up to you and they want a voice of reasoning from you because you're held accountable of your actions. So if you feel like, oh, today I've gone through so much, take time out. Do not come and release your frustrations on your flocks or your teachers. It's like a parent. A parent have had a bad day. A parent is a human being. You've had a bad day. You come home, you find a child is doing something, you feel like flashing them in the toilet. Take time out. Take time out because you will be accountable of your own actions as somebody who is in authority. Every single person who is in authority, you have to restrain yourself regardless of what you're going through. If you can't handle it, take time out. You'd rather call in sick and say, I can't do it. You'd rather come in the house and see things, everything your children are doing. Just say, you know what, guys, I'm going to my room. I'll come back and talk to you guys later. Take time out
Take time
because
to rest.
you'll
Mhm.
be held accountable. Whether you're a
Mhm.
human being or not, you'll be held accountable of your action because you are in leadership.
I like that. Parents, take note. Please take a time out, rest. Remember that your frustrations is not about your child. Deal with your frustrations when you have calmed down, then you can deal with your child. Hapana
Yeah.
ingilia mtoto unamletea mashida zako na shida ni
Yeah.
zako. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, about education, that's what we can talk about. We are winding up here, ladies and gentlemen. We are now going to focus on the main topic of this show today. How best can you talk about sex to your child or to your children? Ladies and gentlemen, share this with you. This is where you share, because this is the most difficult thing, even for me, to talk about sex on my shows. It is so hard.
Yes, it is. It is.
My mother doesn't watch my sex talks every Wednesday. She told me it's so embarrassing.
Oh, Lord.
I know she's watching this one. She watches this one. She says, this one I will watch. But that one of Wednesday, raw sex talk and calling names, unasema sijui nini, hii na hii unaita hivi. Sometimes she asks me if I'm normal, but I always tell her, yes, I have a passion. I believe that sex is a very vital activity for any
Mhm,
human being, and learning about it can make you to make better choices, whether you are young
mhm,
or old.
mhm,
It's all
mm.
about learning.
Yes. Don't you
So,
remember the pastor who told us twa 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 twa?
okay,
He
yeah.
was a
Yes, yes, yeah. I remember her. That pastor was very, very hilarious. But she said it in a very nice way. They have sex with
yes.
her husband before
Hmm.
going to preach in the
Yes.
morning. So the pastor
Hmm.
is more energetic. She's energetic, and they are not tempted to go after other people after they have
Hmm.
already helped themselves at home, which is very important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm.
So this thing about sex and body parts, your daughters, how did you go through until now?
I really realized that it's very important to teach your children about their body, how to
Hmm.
love and respect their body, and also say, one day, my eldest daughter, because there's 6 years gap, so when she was in secondary school, and you know when children hit secondary school, they learn so many things. When you're in primary, you still don't know. One day, Lord have mercy. One day, my daughter goes to my second born and say, "Oh, don't talk to me like that. You know you have to respect me because before, when you are still in mom's stomach, when you are still an egg." And this is exactly what my firstborn told my secondborn. And my secondborn was just young. She was only 6. I think she was 6 or 7. So she didn't even understand what this other one was talking about. And this one was around 12, because there's a 6.5 years difference. She said, "Don't disrespect me. Don't talk to me like that. Because when you are still when you are still an egg in my mom's in mommy's stomach, and you are still a sperm in dad's penis." Hi. So my 6-year-old come crying. Mommy, Denise told me that I was an egg in your stomach and I was a sperm in my dad's penis. Is that true? I was like, hey, Yesu, what is this? I said, Mommy, why are you telling my sister that? And then my daughter goes, but Mom, it's true, isn't it? It's true. And then my little one asked me, Mommy, is it true? I didn't know what to say. I was like, okay, God give me wisdom. How am I going to answer this? Mommy, is it true that I was an egg and a sperm as well? And then I said, I'll talk to you later, sweetie. I'll explain that later. Because I had to get the wisdom. How am I going to explain this? That she was a sperm and she was an egg. Of course, she was a sperm and an egg, but she's still young. She's still young. She can't. And because she was crying, she didn't want to be an egg and she didn't want to be a sperm. So she was crying. So I had to talk to her later and tell her what a sperm means, how you get the child. So then I realized that it's so important to start teaching these children, because she was only 6. Her
Hmm.
big sister told her that already. So she's crying. Her big sister knew already what this thing was. So I just realized, okay, now you have to really teach your children. And the second thing as well, they teach them in school. So you as a parent, you have to also teach them. So at school, because at school they just teach it as it is, raw, the way it is. Or they show them how the dick is. They draw the dick of a boy. They show them condoms. They show them the way everything is. So when my children are young, first of all, I taught them how their periods. I said there's an egg in your stomach, and the egg comes out every month. It comes out, When it comes out from your doo-doo. I show them their doo-doo. And this is your vagina, and this is how it is. There's clitoris, there's this, and your breast. This is your breast will come out here. And I told them everything about their private body parts. And I even showed them how to look after themselves if they have the periods. This is way before they even started their periods. How to look after yourself if you have period, how to put your pads in your panty, and when there's blood, how many times you should go and change, and when you change, how you have to wrap it, and don't ever let anybody see your blood or your panty, your pads. So I told them that at an early age. So when I had my periods, because I would change in front of them, and they say, "Oh, mom, oh yuck, did your eggs break?" I say, "Yeah, my eggs broke." So this is, and they'll see me changing. I never hid it from them. They saw me changing my period pads. They sometimes even my daughter will come and say, "Mommy, let me do it for you. Let me put your pads for you." So she'll take my French pads and put it for me. So that was one thing that I had to teach them. And then I now had to teach them that if you're in your prison, I have to teach them about sex. I said, there's boys, and the first time my daughter, and this is why I had to teach them, Benjamin. First, what my daughter told my other daughter, and she started crying. And then first, my first daughter, when she was around 5, she had not seen a dick. She didn't know how it looks like. So one day I took her to my friend's house, and my friend went and started washing her with her son in the same bathtub. So she saw this thing and she started crying. And she was like, "Oh my God, what's that? What's that?" So she started crying. So when my friend told me, and I just said, "Why did you wash them together though? You shouldn't have done that. You should have washed them separate." And then I thought, what's the point of hiding this from her? She'll one day find out that, oh, this is this and this is, and then maybe she'll now want to touch it. She'll now want to be curious and say, "Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it." I don't want that. So I started teaching them. And when I started teaching them about boys, this is what boys have, this is what girls have. And when it comes to this is how you make, because when I was pregnant with my second born, I had to explain to them how you got pregnant. A man and a boy, they have sex. When you have sex, you get pregnant. So they have to know that even from the young age. So no sex, because if you get sex, you get pregnant. And if you get pregnant, I told them how you get pregnant. And when you're going to have that baby, it's painful to have that baby. Okay, but it reaches an age, then your vagina will open, so it won't be painful anymore. Because also you don't want to scare them that, and then they'll never have babies because they'll just think, "Oh my God."
Hold on. At what age did you tell them about pregnancy? Like
From
the firstborn,
from when they were 6 years old,
you already told them that if you have sex, you will become pregnant.
you become pregnant. From
Mm-hmm.
6 years old, I started teaching them about. I started teaching my daughter because she was the only one. So I started teaching her. And then when I had my second and my third, my second, I didn't teach about the sex until my firstborn said something to her. And I was like, okay, this is time to have this conversation with her. But at that time as well, she was 6.
So it's
So I was
perfectly
waiting for
okay
her.
to tell the truth. In short, what you're saying, let the parent tell the child the truth. If you have sex with a boy or with a man, you will become pregnant.
You will get pregnant. There's no
Yes.
any other way. A child doesn't come from a supermarket.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were being told, a child comes from you having sex
With
with
another
another
person.
person, with
Yes.
a boy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yep.
don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I teach them about these things. I've taught them about having sex, and then now here comes when now my daughter, they feel like an urge. So my daughter comes to me and say, "Mom, I don't know if you feel like this, but sometimes this is how I feel." And I knew that is, when the body start changing and the hormones start changing. So she started talking to me about this, that how do you feel when you feel like this? And I knew straight away what she was feeling. The hormones, the body's changing, and that is a natural thing. You cannot stop it. You cannot stop children from hormones changing and body changing, and they feel like, "I want to have sex. What is this? Is this something that I want to do?" You can't stop that. You can just tell them what to do. So I told my daughter, if you feel like that, because that's what I do, if you feel like that, what do you feel like? She would tell me sometimes that she dreamt that she was having sex, and then when she woke up, and then I said, okay, because I know what that is. Because that happens to me as well. Because I'm a single parent. It will happen to me anytime. And then I said, when I feel like that, I normally put God's song. That's what I told them. I normally put God's song, and I'll just listen to Christian music, or I'll go and have a wash, or I'll just start thinking about something else. And that helps me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'll tell them. I'll just tell them what happens to me, and I'll relate it. I'll just give it to them how what I do when that happens to me,
Yes.
how I cope with that.
Mm-hmm.
But teaching your children about sex is very important. Teaching your children about their body parts is very important. That's when now nobody can touch your child, whether they're ankle, they're this. So I teach my children and I say, you see this, your breast,
Mm-hmm.
you see your vagina, you see your bum, nobody should touch it. Okay?
Nobody.
Nobody should touch it.
Mm-hmm.
You see, from here, I teach them from here going down, nobody should touch it. And in the UK, they teach children that as well. So I say, nobody should touch this, nobody should touch it. So the children know that if anybody was to touch my breast or my bum or my vagina, I have to tell my mom. And I have to tell them, do not touch me like that. And nobody should kiss your lips either. And then I also told them about herpes. I say, you see, there's a disease called herpes. Herpes, people can have it through their lips. And if you kiss somebody with herpes, you can get it. And that's not to scare them. That's the truth of the matter.
Yep.
And if you get herpes never goes away. Herpes is
Mm-hmm.
something that stays forever. And you don't want to get herpes at your age, and
Mm-hmm.
either you've not even had a baby or probably don't even have a boyfriend yet, and you have herpes already.
Wow. How
So I
about
think
family planning? Yeah, this is something to do with family planning, because how did you address the family planning part?
the family planning as well, and that's why you see, because I was having a discussion with my daughter and she said, mommy, the reason why you see a lot of black girls with children in the pram. So statistic is there's a lot of black children who are young from the age of 16 to probably 20 that have children already. But and they should say, no, that's not because it's only black children that have sex. Even a lot of white children have sex. But
Mm-hmm.
the difference is their parents teach them. There's a but. So we as black parents, yes, we tell our children that don't have sex until you get married. Don't have sex, but that but is what we don't want to know. But there's a but. So, but if it was to happen, you have to use contraceptives. You have to use condom, because even taking pills is not enough. What if you go and sleep with that person and you have HIV or you have a sexual transmitted disease? So you must use condom. Don't do it, but if you have to do it, I always say, if you have to do it, use this and use it. So you have
Do
to.
you continuously keep on telling them and reminding them, or some parents can tell their children only once, and if the children say, "Oh, I know what you're saying, I already know," and then they give and they stop. Like for me, my father talked about sex only one time in my life, only one time.
Yes.
He just told me, "I don't want you to have sex with girls." End of the story. Never explained anything, never said anything. The same with my mother, as far as I remember, when I was around 14, just joining high school, she also told me the same. Benjamin, I want you to remain a good boy, and I don't want you to have sex with any girl. End of the story.
And that was once. With me, the difference with
Yes.
me is we discuss it a lot with my children, because they will come to me maybe and say, "Oh, ma'am, can you imagine that girl is just having sex with so many boys?" I say, "Oh, seriously? Why is she doing that? Why would you have sex with so sex is something that we discuss. We discuss it a lot in my house, but probably I'm not telling them directly that, or don't have sex, but them telling me that, oh, mom, can you imagine so and so? How can she even say that? She just had sex. We talk about sex like it's eating ugali in my house, because they feel like if probably their friends had it, my daughter will come and say, Mommy, can you imagine? She went out and she was drunk, and then her friend took her something, and Mommy, they had sex with her. They had sex with her. And then I said, and then she's scared to tell her mom because she lied to her mom. And then I said, if that was to happen to you, sweetie, would you come and tell me? And she said, yeah, Mommy, I'll tell you. But I will not put myself in that position of getting so drunk that I don't know what I'm. And this is my 18-year-old that I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't know if that's what maybe scares her to go out. I don't know. But she is, we talk about sex a lot, because they're in the stage where their friends have had sex. Their friends are pregnant. My last one even came and told me the other day, oh, Mom, I don't know so-and-so is pregnant. I said, really? At what age? Oh, 16. Oh, Lord. Why can't she use contraceptive? Why did she use condom? Why did it? So it's something that It's a normal discussion in my house. And sometimes it's so weird, Benjamin. It's so weird sometimes when they just come and talk about sex
Well,
like
like what Aguti was asking, you remember the first comment we saw earlier
yes,
on.
yes, yes.
The
First of all, I
Aguti,
want to tell her,
yes.
that
Let
congratulations
me
for
get that
even.
comment. Let me get that comment before you. Oh, you can go on responding to her.
Yeah, I want to tell her that even congratulations for her son to even come and have that discussion with her.
This is
Because
her
it
comment here.
takes, yeah, because that shows you, for that boy to come and tell mom that shows you that the mom and the son are like this. That's a very tight relationship because there's no way a boy will come and tell their mom that. So that means it's a very, very tight relationship between a son and mom. So congratulations, Aguti. That is so good of you to have created that relationship and that space that your boy, a 15-year-old is not a 5-year-old, that your 15-year-old can come and tell you something like that. But for me, if my child was to come and say, oh, mommy, look at my breast. There's so because women, it's breast, they'll compare. Because
Breast is
vagina,
a big
they'll
breast
know it.
is a big issue, by the
It's a
way.
big issue. And bum as well, breast
And the
and bum.
bumps, yeah, especially from Africa.
Yes, it's breast and bum. So if
Yeah.
my child was to come and tell me, "Oh, mommy, why is my breast small?" So Agutu, if that's Agutu, if that is your son came to you, you have to now talk to your son how God has created people differently because there's nothing he can do to make his thing big. So you have to now talk to him and say, "There is big, bigger, biggest," and that's how
Mhm.
God has created us. So yours is probably the big. And then there's a bigger and there's a biggest. And then you also have to tell him that even with the biggest, it's not good because now they have to put a rubber. Because he's 15, so you can talk to him about sex. They have to put a rubber if they're having sex because that big is not good. The biggest is not good. So the one you have is good, honey. Because I know you have that relationship already. So talk to him about big, bigger, biggest. And that's the same thing I talk to my children about breast and bum. There's big, bigger, biggest. But the one you have is good because look at the people who have big, big breasts. They have back problems. They go for operation. They are struggling. You don't want that. So
And those
just
who
talk
have
to your
smaller
son.
ones, they want to enlarge them and have bigger ones.
Bigger ones want to make it smaller because it's
Yeah.
too big. So
Uh-huh.
appreciate the one that God has given you.
And I also want to add on that that the African ladies should not imagine that all men, all African men, want a lady with big bums
No, no, or big boobs.
or big boobs. So it's like so many ladies struggle as much as they can to be
Mhm.
admired based on their boobs and their butts.
Yeah,
That's not necessarily that's how God created you. Love yourself
exactly.
the way you are. You don't need
Mm.
to create an impression that you are much more attractive when you have these big butts and big boobs
Yes,
in front of the
yes.
people. You that's how God created you.
Mm.
Uh-huh. So the control, the birth control. I saw a comment here, Lydia, earlier on
Mhm.
about birth control, and you have mentioned something about the black children that most of them they end up becoming parents. Even a boy will have
Yes.
sex with a woman, a girl,
Mhm.
make up, or an uncle to make it even worse. An uncle can
Yes.
actually sleep with your daughter,
Yeah.
impregnate her, or
Mhm.
cousins, you know.
Mhm.
And one of the root causes of this is parents don't want to talk about sex.
Yes. So you see some children even saying that it happened, I didn't even know what it was, you
Mhm.
know. You have to teach your children nobody should touch the parts that nobody should touch. And you have to let them love those parts and respect those parts. This is my vagina. I'm
Mhm.
happy that I have it, and I'm proud that I have my vagina because this vagina, what is the vagina for? It's for we can come out from there, periods come out from there, you can have sex from there. So that is your part that nobody should touch, just you.
Wow.
That is what, and this is your breast as
Mhm.
well. What does breast do? Milk comes out from here, and this
Mhm.
is also your breast. You have to, and your bum. So you teach your children that nobody, because now if you don't teach them, uncle will come, uncle will start touching the breast. They don't know if uncle is supposed to touch that breast or not. Uncle will start touching down there. They don't know if uncle should be touching down there or not because you've not told them how down there, how precious their vagina is, how precious their breast is, how precious their bum is, and nobody should, how precious their lips is, and nobody should touch those things.
Mhm. Wow, very powerful. I hope the parents are listening. Let me ask you, the viewers, what is difficult about talking about sex? What is so hard about explaining what Lydia is explaining here? What is so hard? As a parent, what do you lose to explain that if you have sex, if you have unprotected sex, this will have. What is so difficult to say that? I want to know the parent's mind and what makes it difficult for them. For me, honestly, I feel I cannot be scared to talk about these things. And it's also even much better to share your own experience. What do you think about sharing your own past experience? I had sex at the age of 15. It wasn't good. Like I can see a comment here. Toera again, Nyirenda says, I talk about it with my children, and one of them shared his first time he had sex. It was not a good experience. You, as a parent who is listening to us, what is so difficult to talk about sex? What makes it very difficult?
Mm.
Yeah, and sharing. So Lydia, do you think even sharing your own experiences, like you've talked about the periods, and of course having your children, having the three daughters,
Mm.
is it okay for a parent to also share her or his past experiences?
Yes, I actually did talk. I think I said it early one day here. I spoke about me. I was a virgin until the age of 20 when I met the father of my children. And I told my children that I was a virgin until I met your dad. And if I knew better, I could have waited. But it was the pressure. So that's why I told them. I said, don't succumb in pressure. Because for me, it was I was in college. And the guys were like, oh my God, you're missing. It's so sweet. It's so this. Personally, I'm not that person that sex is always in my mind. I'm somebody who don't really have those too much feelings for sex. I don't have it. There's a time I was even taking kukumanga. My sister told me, wait, kunywa kukumanga feelings zako zitakuwa. You know, some people are like that. Some people have high, some people have low, some people are very low. And I think mine is very low. And sometimes I feel like, oh God, why don't you make it high? But I'm okay with what God gave me, to be honest.
Mhm.
And I was a virgin until the age of 20. And because of the pressure, and I even had my periods up to the age of 18. So even my periods were late. My virginity, I broke my virginity at 20. So I told my children that I told them I had 18 and I had sex. My first time I had my sex was with your dad, and I was 20 years old. And one day my daughter comes to me and say, oh, Mom, I've beat you. I say, what do you mean? She said, you broke your virginity at the age of 20. I'm 22 and I'm still a virgin. That's what my daughter told me. And I said, oh, that's good. So now you've stayed up to 22. Why don't you just stay until you're married? Because you could have broken your virginity at 16, 18, but you waited. So why don't you just wait? So there's no point of breaking it now. You can still wait for 2 or 3 more years. I don't know when she wants to get married. But I discussed it with them. And my first experience wasn't good. I hated it because first it was about pressure. So it wasn't something that I wanted to do. There was too much pressure, and I did it. And Benjamin, I hated it. I didn't like it.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why my sex drive is so low, because my first one was not a good experience. And then I didn't know anything. So he had to teach me,
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Mhm. Wow.
But I pray my children are not like that. I always pray in my silence prayers. I always say, God, don't let my children have low sex drive, because I wouldn't want them in their marriage probably to have a problem in their marriage because of their low sex life. So I always pray to God not to let them be like me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. I go to Deborah, I say, thank you, Sister Lydia and Benjamin. I've got you right. To me, nothing's difficult. And my mother is like, for Benja, because wherever I'm talking about, she goes away. Uh, she goes away. Okay, Teresa K. Omwenga says, to me, nothing is hard to explain about sex to children or young people. Congratulations to you if nothing is hard. You see here, Lydia,
Yeah.
Spinika Akama says, one of the reasons why it's difficult to talk about sex is lack of better words. People want to use different words. They don't want to call vagina, vagina, clitoris, clitoris.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
any other better word. That's why even in
Mhm.
my Wednesday Raw Sex Talk, some people come to my inbox and tell me, Benjamin, usiseme mboro, sema kitu ingine, you know?
Mhm. But that's what it is. It is
It
what
is
it
what
is.
it is. So, there's nothing else I can call it, you know?
Mm. There's no any other word to call
Yeah.
it. So call it the way it is. It's a
Mm-hmm.
vagina. And I also talk to my children about FGM. And I tell them FGM is they cut your clitoris, because these men are so selfish. They don't want you to enjoy sex. So I talk to them about FGM. And I say why FGM is not nice. So they know already that if they cut your clitoris, you're not going to have sex feelings. So I've spoken to them about that. There's no any other way. Vagina is vagina. You cannot say nose and you're talking about
Mm-hmm.
vagina. It is
Mm-hmm.
vagina. It is what it is. You're not the one who brought that word. You were born, you found that word. So just
Mm-hmm.
use it. There's
Mm-hmm.
no lack of better words. It's just the way it is. Of course, you can use wisdom when you're talking. You can't just say when uanze kufanya maaction nini, but you can use words. You can just call it the way it is, but just use wisdom on your talk.
Mm-hmm.
And also know the age, because when they're 6, there's how you talk to them when they're 6, because their mind can only take so much. When they're 10, you know what to tell them because their mind can only take so much. When they're 15, so you cannot go to a 6-year-old and start loading the pack with all the information. They'll be like, what is mom talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So at every stage of their life, there's how you talk to them.
Mm-hmm. We'll explain that later on in the coming shows, because it goes with age. You cannot just talk about sex to any
Yeah.
person and any age. I saw that comment earlier on. Um, Age is very important, and that will help you on what to say and not to say. But ultimately, I believe saying the truth is the key thing here. You have to say the truth. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't try to beat around the bush. Go direct, be brief and to the point. And especially with the teenagers, I think with the teenagers, it's much more difficult because they already have this information online.
Mm-hmm.
They have it from school,
Mm-hmm.
and then now you're coming back to add on them. But in your style, the way you have explained is they bring stories because they are very close to you. They
Mm-hmm.
bring stories about sex, and then you
Yeah.
join in, and then you begin asking questions from that.
Mm-hmm.
And but this you started from early age, so there are parents, as you said again from the last programs, you can start now.
Yeah.
there are
It's
parents who
never
have
late.
there are parents who have the most notorious age, 12 years and above, 12 to 18, never talked about sex, but they can start now.
Yes.
Mhm.
Everything has a beginning, but you start
Yes.
with small doses. You don't
Mhm.
just go back. It's just a small dose, because if you've never done it before, they'll be wondering,
Mhm.
what is mom talking about? Mom, that's weird. Stop talking about that. We don't want to hear it. So it
Mhm.
has to be in small doses, small doses until you get there if you've never spoken about it. But
And
you
the
can
parent can say,
start.
yes, the parent can say, now things are changing. Now we have
Mhm.
to talk about these things. Finally, and
Exactly.
if your child will feel like, wow, mommy has changed, daddy
Mhm.
has changed, he's
Yes.
talking about these things. You as a parent, I think, I believe, like for me as teachers, this is what we are required to do in classroom. So
Yes.
you as a parent, then you take the role of guiding your children. Say, yes, I have changed, but we have to talk about this. This
Mm.
is very important. And
Yes.
this discussion I'm having with you, my son, is very important. And for these reasons, I've not changed. I still love you. I still respect you, but I want you to begin learning these things from today.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's always a time to start. Don't
Mhm.
give up. I have this other quote here that I picked up. Ultimately, when it comes to teens, you want to empower your child to be able to evaluate the risks and make decisions.
Yeah.
Sex is about risks and making decision.
Mhm.
uh-huh.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. Can you summarize this in your own words and in your experience with your daughters?
Life itself is about risk and making good decisions or bad decisions. So you as a parent, you need to just guide them. If somebody, like I remember my daughter one day when she came to me and she said, and she was only 13, that's my firstborn, and she said she likes this boy. And I told her, no, you can't go out with the boy. And then I gave her the reasons why. And she started crying. And I told her, it's okay. So I put her head here. She cried until she finished crying. But later she even came one day and told me, Mommy, I'm happy you told me not to go out with the boy. So for me, for you as a parent, is you have to just guide them. But if she thought, you know what, I don't want to listen to mommy, I'm still going to do it. But at least you've guided them, you've helped them to evaluate the risk. And then now it's up to them to make the good decision or bad decision. But you, as a parent, you've stepped in and you've done your job as a parent. But you have to allow them to make the bad decisions or good decisions. The only thing is just pray that the bad decision, the mistake they make, because everybody makes mistakes, just make sure that the mistake they make is not a life-changing mistake. Because we know that the mistakes are very expensive, Benjamin, and there's no
Very,
coming back again.
very, very expensive.
That's why when people say everybody makes mistakes, yes, we do, but there's some mistakes there's no coming back. So that's why your children have to evaluate the risk of making those bad mistakes. Is this mistake going to be a life-changing mistake?
Powerful. And I would like us to finish there, unless there's any other thing you want to add on. We have taken so much time, 1 hour.
Yes.
We will we will try, Lydia, maybe in the next coming shows, for the sake of the viewers who can watch a repeat. We will try to be squeezing our shows to be about 1 hour, so that
Yes.
people these days don't want to watch a long video.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
long videos which are very powerful like this, they would rather watch. I don't know what people are doing online. They would rather go. You find a parent who was here moving away from this show to go and watch news, siasa ya Kenya penye Ruto amepitia na Raila,
And that one doesn't help them with parenting.
No, it's those are politicians who are looking for a job to raise their children,
Yes.
better children, and but that is nature of people here. And I
Yes.
wish that when people are watching these kind of programs, they take it as serious as much as they can. It's a sacrifice you're taking for 1 hour to follow what the people are discussing here and people are commenting. That can help your son or your daughter's life for the rest of his or her life.
Yeah.
So the next time you see this video, this live broadcast on Mondays from 5 p.m. United Kingdom time or 8 p.m. East African time, spare that time. If you don't have that time, go and watch a repeat on YouTube. These are kind of the videos I watch privately when I'm alone, because I need this knowledge. But as we said, knowledge is nothing until you implement it.
That's right.
We have told you to talk about sex. Don't postpone it. Begin talking about sex with your daughter. There is no any other person who is going to do it for you. Lydia, Benjamin, or the people commenting will not do it for you. We have our children, we have our lives, and we are trying to implement what we are saying. So you as a parent, don't be listening here and say, okay, I'm going to pray, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to find the right time. Siku moja ndaanza kumwambia mambo ya sex. Begin today. Begin now. There is always a chance to begin from somewhere. Lydia, your parting shot to any parent who is watching here, please.
Yes, I just want to say, first of all, thank you very much for taking your time to come and watch this. And again, I started by saying this. I'm not a perfect parent. I'm not perfect a person either, but I'm a best mom for my children and a good mom for my children in the community and in the society, because I gave them my time, I gave them my money, my love, and I gave them financial stability. So once children have those things, your time, that's number one, time. Number two, your love. Number three, and when I say love, love comes with so many things. Love comes with reassurance, reassuring them every time how beautiful they are, how you love them, you reassuring them of how wonderful they are, the things they do. Love carries a lot of things. It's not just I love you. A lot of things. And your time as well, and also financial stability. Try and give that to your children, or give that to your children regardless of what cost. So say if you're a parent and you're watching this, please, if you think that, oh, this is good, I want to implement this in my children's life, fair enough. If you think it's not for me, just don't throw it in the bin. Take it and put it in the shelf. One day you come back and you remember, there's a Benjamin show somewhere. They were talking about this. Let me go and take what they were saying and see if I can implement it in my children's life. And remember, knowledge is power, but it's not power until you implement it. So thank you so much, everybody. And my name is Lydia Tett Olet. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can. And I always do shows every Wednesday as well. So Mondays with Benjamin, Wednesday with myself. So thank you so much and God bless you.
Thank you, Lydia. Thank you so much. And I wish you nothing but the best. I hope to see you again next Monday.
Yes.
Goodbye. Thank you so much, Lydia. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Lydia with me, Benjamin, Bold and Raw Talks. Remember to like and follow this page. Again, if you want to watch a repeat, if you are watching for the first time, my message to you is check out here on the screen Please like and follow this page. And also you can check me out on TikTok and also on Instagram with the name handles Benjamin_Bogonko. Until next Monday, see you from me, Benjamin and Lydia. We wish you a fantastic week and also a great new month of March 2022. All the best in your parenting life with your son or your daughter. God bless you guys, and we love you. Goodbye.